Welcome to the Reborn podcast. I am off-site, not in my normal location. I'm actually sitting here at Fell Fitness with one of my best friends, Scott Fell.
Yep.
Usually he corrects me and wants me to say my very best friend.
And that's what he meant to say. That's what he meant to say.
So we're actually in the heart of Southside Birmingham. So at any point in time, there could be a homeless person urinating on the graffitied wall behind me.
Gunshot.
There.
Could be a gunshot.
Could be a gunshot. There's going to be people wandering by, helicopters flying overhead, traffic, people honking at each other. There also is a community of special needs people that we love and know actually really well that live in this building that tend to wander down here from time to time. So if they see us, McPatty, Russell, they're going to interject and we're just going to roll with it. It's going to be a part of the whole deal. I hope you're watching this on video when it happens because
there's a chance.
There's a strong chance.
Yeah, and we are off hours, so you never know, but who knows? The warning.
So I am so excited to get into this. Scott is a guy that has lived at least a dozen lives. He might be the most interesting man on earth. I'm excited to just kind of help him tell his story. So, I mean, really fast, the way we met was probably 2014, 2015-ish.
Ish.
There was an awesome coffee shop in Homewood here in town called Octane.
Miss it. Still to this day.
It was the best coffee shop in Birmingham. God rest its soul. And but I was sitting there working, and Scott is you're about to figure out, is a very outgoing, kind of gregarious guy. And this guy just walks right up to me. He's like, "Hey, bro. You work out, man. You got a great body.
You're a beast.
Who are you? Like, I want to know you." And you just start chatting it up, and I think you programmed my number in your phone as
it was Jeremy Octane.
Jeremy Octane.
It might still be.
So, and then from there, we kind of kept running into each other over the years. And then just about 2 years ago, you popped up on my social feed, and I hadn't seen you in years. You popped up, except you'd gained about 60 or 70 pounds
minimum.
It looked like you ate yourself.
I did.
And
I did.
So Scott had moved from more like functional fitness into bodybuilding. He's a competitive bodybuilder now, as you can see on videos, he's a large guy. And so I think
the tight clothes.
I think
I don't know.
I think I sent him a message like, do you still work out, bro? And he was like, "Where have you been?" Anyway, we reconnected, started working out together. And so we actually are on site here at the outdoor part of his gym. And we spend an inordinate amount of hours together.
And that's why when you said not the normal space, it is a normal space. It's not for the podcast.
Right. Right. It is a regular part of our daily life.
And I would not trade it for the world, brother.
Yeah.
Some of the best times always makes my day when you walk in, work out with the other guys. Have loved reconnecting. I guess I can't really say reconnecting now because we've been connected now again for a few years, but love you, brother. I love you being here. Love training with you. And anybody, if you don't have a workout partner and you can find a workout partner like him, like myself, it is true community.
Yeah.
We talk about everything in our few hours together.
In between some of the most painful, heavyweight sessions of my entire life.
Yeah, I can, as I'm sitting here, and it's a bit cold out here, but I can feel how hot my chest is, if that makes any sense. So
I'm glad to be here. I'm really happy to be in your space, having this conversation. And I want us to just dive into your life, man. And let me just say, Scott Fell, I'll sum this up at the end. I'm feeling tempted to sum it up now, and I don't want to give it away, but your life is a miracle. Amen, and somebody needs to hear that story, which is ultimately, it's the only reason I started this podcast. And it's the only reason you're sitting here is because I feel like you have a story that somebody needs to hear, and the prayers that it reaches exactly. If it's one person, if it's a million people, it doesn't matter. If it reaches exactly who it needs to hear and gives them some hope and encouragement.
Because, man, if I can tell you this, and I know we're going to dive into my story, but I wholeheartedly mean this, know this. I can stand, I'm standing on concrete, not sand. I can tell you that if I can come back from places I've been anyone can.
Anybody can.
Anyone. I mean that. And the people that have known me and walked it with me through all of it and have seen it, anything's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I 100% stand on that foundation of absolute concrete, stone, steel. It's a fact, man.
Yeah.
100%.
So let's start with childhood. Tell me about where you grew up. I know you bounced around a little bit. Your folks. Tell me about your dad. Your dad was a military guy, right?
Yeah. And my dad was a big influence in my life. Love my dad, love my mom. You know the story of my brother. Was very close to my brother. Childhood wasn't great. And to be real, man, the older that I've gotten, it's funny I don't remember a ton of it. I mean, obviously I remember it, but I think a lot of it was a blur. Man, it was just, wasn't a lot of great memories, man. I mean, it's just kind of what it is.
So when you say your childhood wasn't that great, I feel like you're being really generous.
Yeah, it was a lot of dysfunction in the home. And, a lot of moving around. My dad was in the military, so man, there'd be some times where I'm a young kid and you move in the middle of a school year and just always being the new kid.
Yeah.
And I didn't even, excuse me, I didn't know at the time, just because it's hard to identify those things when you're young. I just didn't have a lot of friends. And then my last name's Fell. So, I would get picked on, and just always being the new kid.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't fun.
Yeah.
And then, home life was not spectacular by any stretch. And I know my parents tried, and I respect that, and I love my parents.
Hey, we can say this. All of us, including me and you, are doing the very best we can with what we were given.
100%.
Right? So your parents, we'll get into it, broken people, just like me, just like you, did the best they could with the tools they had.
100%. And they were never meant to be married. And again, that's what it is.
Maybe they were. You exist.
And God has a plan, and He has a plan that we don't understand, and they just weren't a good match. It seemed. And again, we all walk the road that we walk, and I know they both learned a lot from it. And my father's passed away, but he remarried, and my stepmom, who is a mom to me, is enormously special in my life. My mom has remarried. I've rekindled a great relationship with my mom. My stepdad's great. So everything has worked out for the better. But childhood was just a lot, man.
Painful.
It was painful. It was moving around and
a lot of alcohol present.
A lot of alcohol present. A lot.
Which probably meant a lot of parent absence.
And
like alcohol present.
And what does alcohol fuel? Anger.
Yeah.
Insecurity. Depression, and I know we'll get into it, that was a road I walked for a long time, very long time. And, the battle I had with alcohol, really it was a coping mechanism more than anything, but a lot of that, just never seeing my parents happy, man.
Yeah.
Hearing the fights, seeing the fights, it's just not healthy. It's just what it is. And again, hold no hard feelings, no ill will. It just wasn't a great situation. But I always had my older brother. Speaking of, there's
here we go. We got a visitor.
We got one.
Hey man, we're filming. Yeah. We're gonna be here for about an hour. Yeah, man. Hey,
You're welcome, buddy.
Yeah, we're filming Scott Fell from Fell Fitness. But hey, we're live right now, so I got to go back to the camera. Okay. Okay, buddy. He's right here. Have a great night.
See you, buddy.
That was one of our special needs.
So
friends.
I mean, we didn't make it long, but God put me in this place, and I can tell you.
Go ahead.
I can tell you, if you'd have told me 4 years ago before I moved in here that I would be caring for so many special needs people, and it has truly brought an unbelievable. Just a purpose in my life.
Yeah.
And it feels so good to love on these guys, man. And McPatty and Russell and man, love them. And man, and it does as much for me. And you're so great with them. Everyone here is great with them. It does more for me, I think, than it does for them. So,
well, kudos, man. And you're unbelievably gracious.
Yeah.
And kind. God bless McPatty. He's probably watching this right now. McPatty, we are so proud of you.
We are.
That dude is
my only employee.
Yeah, he's the one
employee.
He's the head of
empire.
HR. Wait,
Yeah.
what is the actual
he's
title?
Really,
he's the chief sanitation officer.
Yeah, he's kind of like the CDC of Fell Fitness. You know, he makes sure that the benches are clean, which we failed on this one.
He massively failed.
We missed that
There's
spot.
rust spots on that one.
That was from us earlier.
140-pound dumbbells earlier today.
So, but yeah, so McPatty
we're totally rabbit trailing, but
Sorry.
I think it's a good reflection of the human being that you are, and I love the safe space you created for them to kind of just wander in and out of this boutique gym environment.
These four walls outside, this place has helped save my life, man.
Yeah,
brought me so much purpose, and I love we're filming here.
Well, we're gonna get there. Let's get to that in a second. I want to go I want to be linear.
So childhood,
in the story,
childhood.
So childhood,
parents,
and we don't have to linger because. And we always want to honor our parents and our stories, but really tough. Mom was kind of in and out of the picture.
She was, and again, and like I said, and I can credit my mom was always fun. I mean, when she was on, man, she was on. Nobody lights up a room like my mom. My mom is still to this day, she is beautiful. I mean, my mom's almost 70, and I mean, she's just a beautiful woman. And again, she's got a great heart. But man, you know the old saying, hurt people, my brother. And my mom has her own past and everything else. And again, you know, it is what it is. And she was in and out. And again, there was times of hardship within our family. You know, my parents divorced. So I moved around. I was born in Tampa, Florida, moved to South Carolina, then moved to Colorado, then to Georgia. I mean, I've lived everywhere. And I guess, you know, so childhood, it was tough, man. It was me and my brother.
So that was going to be my next question. Tell me about you and your brother, and because basically you guys stuck together,
man.
Because that was your consistency.
He was my lifeline. And to be real with you, man, it was I developed a tremendous codependency with my brother, and I think vice versa. Because man, no matter what, it was always us, and we were close in age. We're about 2.5 years apart, and my brother has just such a big heart, but man, when it comes to me, my brother would kill for me. Yeah. My brother is the toughest white boy I've ever laid eyes on. He is just, he is a man. I mean, I love my brother, and he always guarded me in that way and protected me in that way. And as we grew up, you know, obviously coming from a dysfunctional home, moving around was hard on me, but it was tremendously hard on my brother. I think I'm just naturally kind of a people person. I learned to adjust. And I remember a time, it was in the middle of a school year, and all I think about when I'm moving, first thing I think, I'm going to a new school. Oh crap, where am I going to sit at lunch? Because everybody's got their clique soon. And I remember saying to myself that morning, I said, you know what? I'm going to sit wherever I want. And I looked into the lunchroom. I picked the table of people I thought looked the coolest or interesting to me, or people I may have wanted to know. And I just sat my white ass down and said, hey, I'm Scott. and I just did it, and ended up starting to thrive a little more socially, where it hurt my brother. And I can't blame him. It's hard. And, you know, and kids are mean today. When we were growing up, we're the same age. I mean, there was kids, man, you know, really getting bullied.
Yeah.
Beat up, picked on. Like, man, back then,
bullying was not a term.
It was not a term. Thing. Yeah, it was like, well, if you're getting your butt kicked at school, punch him back.
Right.
You know, and so, you know, it was tough on him. So, and I can go on and on about that, but we were all that we had. And of course, my brother started kind of down the wrong road first, man. There was drugs and alcohol present from a very early age.
And let me say this. He's a member of Mensa.
Like,
the guy is
160 IQ.
Off the chart. Brilliant. And
which
sometimes can come with brokenness. It's like it's difficult to
his brain, his anxiety.
Navigate,
I mean, it never shut off. And
yeah.
And he was just always battled with that. I just think then he was a tremendous artist. So man, he had all of those genes. And you know, so he started drugs and alcohol. I mean, I remember I was probably 11, he was 13, and I saw cocaine.
Unbelievable.
You know, like he had an 8-ball of cocaine on his person. marijuana, and I can't believe I just said marijuana because I haven't never called it that, cannabis. But I guess I was trying to be appropriate on the podcast. Who am I? But yes,
why are you filtering?
I just filtered that.
Scott never filters
marijuana. But and I saw him with cannabis, man, at a young age. I mean, that was nothing. I mean, and then I smoked pot with him, and I just followed in his tracks, and but it was my brother, and it was attention. And I look back on it now, and it's like I was just a kid screaming for attention.
Sure.
I wanted attention. So then, man, hanging out with the wrong crowd, hanging out with other hurt kids, other kids from dysfunctional homes, and I just fell into that trap. And so from an early age, started smoking pot. Man, I lost my virginity at 13.
Bro.
13, bro.
That is so young.
With a classmate of my brother. She was 16, turned 17 while I was still 13. I look back on that and I'm like,
traumatized. I mean, I know people
I was like the man.
Glamorize that. But that's traumatizing.
And I look back on that
at that age.
And wow. That's troubling. And still to this day.
Bro, that's Raiders 12.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, he's a child.
And and I was running with her, and then of course she smokes cigarettes, smokes weed, and I'm 13 years old, and she's a beautiful girl,
Running
and
with the older beautiful girl,
and I'm just enamored, and so, but that was actually a little that was kind of like my second or third like real girlfriend. Of course, I had a girlfriend before that, which I really probably should tell that story because I ended up in juvenile detention center right before that.
Hey, give me an age. I'm like a timeline guy.
So I lost my virginity. I'd gotten out of there. I was only in juvenile for like 3 or 4 months, but when I was 13, had just turned 13, I went to a school dance, and I remember I snuck out to smoke cigarettes with my buddy. And I'll never forget the head cheerleader, Jennifer Horner. Oh my gosh, that's my best friend. Jennifer Parker, like my sister, is the best woman in my wedding.
Yeah.
And her name is Jennifer Parker. And of course, I never thought this girl would, I was kind of like the thug, the bad boy. She was the preppy cheerleader.
Oh, but she liked the bad boy.
I guess so. And her and the kid's name was Carl. And I still remember his last name, and I'm not going to say it just to, keep him private. So I was out there smoking a cigarette, just finished, and they were out in a fight. She looks at me and she's like, "You're cute." Then she dumped him. We started dating. Well, him and I got in a fight after school a couple of days later. Then I thought it was a good idea me and some buddies to break into his parents' house.
Good call.
Yeah, great call. And then I'm 13 at that moment. Still hadn't met the girl I lost my virginity to, but I cannot believe this is 13. And so I ended up doing my first little turn in juvenile detention center at 13. And it was 3 or 4 months I was in. I think it was a little over 3. I can't remember the exact date. And then I got out. Of course, that place was violent, fighting already. It was just a recipe for destruction. I was already on the wrong road, but send you there around another. Everyone's on the fast track to prison.
Is that where you really learned to fight? Because I know there's a lot of fighting
I fought
stories.
a few times, but that's where I really learned violence.
Yeah.
Where there's other kids that had it way worse than me.
Sure. They got beat on at home. Their dad told them to fight because
I never dealt with sexual abuse. I never dealt with my dad. He gave me a couple of whippings that I deserved, but nothing out of line.
Right.
And kids that are eating water for dinner.
Right.
Hardened kids. And so, man, I definitely learned how to fight there. And I was white, dude. Go in there white. See how you do, man.
Yeah.
And I remember I get there and my food's getting stolen. And, man, I'm hungry. Real hungry. And finally I realized, man, I'm going to have to fight. This kid kept coming and stealing my tray. Every meal, give me your food, give me your food. So I'm going to go to bed that night starving. I didn't sleep that night because I'm like, man, I've got to fight this kid. And then the next time he tried to take my tray and I didn't eat because I beat him with it. I picked my tray up and hit him square in his jaw and did not stop hitting him with my tray. He stopped taking my food.
Yeah.
Oh, and we fought more. And that was not the end of it. But people realized that I would fight.
Yeah.
And I think that that's either in a man or it isn't. And not to sit here and say, man, because I've had my ass whipped plenty of times. It's not like I'm the toughest guy that walks, but I'm not scared to fight.
Yeah.
I have that in me where I'll protect myself.
Yeah.
And some other kids didn't. And you either protect yourself or you don't. So that was a very violent experience. And so I ended up getting out of there, still obviously going down the wrong road, back in school, meet her, start having sex, start doing more drugs, which I never was doing hard drugs. It was alcohol and weed, but still at that age. And I mean, just, and then home life was not good. Then my dad ends up getting stationed in Texas. So we moved to Texas. Still home life is not good. My parents had already been divorced once. I should have touched on that. They got divorced once. And then my dad's dating a girl. And then my mom just shows up. He dumps her, takes her back.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I love my father for that. And I know my dad loved her. And I truly believe she loved my dad and loved her family. But we had actually, even after we had moved, started to thrive. Then things just got worse again. Here we go. Then I'm in Texas, man, running with the wrong crowd, following my brother's lead. And I ended up getting put on like a juvenile probation. I was still getting in trouble. And then they were drug testing me, which I failed those. Then they put me on an ankle monitor. Like I had to be in at a certain time.
Wow.
Oh, and I just wore it and left. Still running away from home. You know, it was bad at home. My parents at that point, I don't even know how they would stop me. I don't know that it was even cared to stop at this point. It just was just a bad situation. Yeah. And my dad had come and picked me up. He knew where I was and he says, "Hey, your mom's sick." And I'm like, "What?" So I get in my dad's truck and we're driving back and my dad, you know, I love my dad. You know, my dad's a softie and I ended up breaking my dad. I was like, "Come on, Dad, what's up?" I was like, "The police there?" He's like, "Yeah, Scott, they're there. They're gonna pick you up, man. We got to get you some help. We got to." So I jump out of the truck. No. Dude, dip, dude.
You never told me this story.
And so I run around the neighborhood and go through the back. And I see that there's all kind of cops. I see my probation officer. I'm like, damn it. And I'm like, so then I like waited out. They leave. So then I go back in. My dad's in there. And my dad and I we always, you know, our relationship at this point was strained. His marriage was strained. A lot was strained, but my dad still had such a way to love me.
Yeah.
And
that's beautiful.
So then my mom calls the cops as I'm talking to my dad. So then they show back up. Well, my pants were sagging, you know, because that was the kind of dude I was. And I run and my pants get caught on the fence. So then the cops get me and they throw me down.
Every conservative dad is feeling so validated right now.
Dude, I can't believe sometimes this is my life. It was my life.
Sorry. So saggy pants.
Throw me down. And bro, when I tell you, it hurt.
Yeah.
Like, dude, they're throwing elbows at me.
You've been beaten.
Yeah, your knees. There's like a knee in your neck. And so I'm kicking. Well, I kicked my probation officer. Swear on everything to this
Didn't know
day
it was him.
Is accident.
Right.
And then my PO gets over me and starts cussing at me saying, "Yeah, you just assaulted, da-da-da-da-da." I forgot what title it was, but that's a felony. And then here comes, and I'm mad and my face is red, like I'm bloodied. And I go, just spit right in my PO's face. Well, I didn't know that's a charge.
Yeah.
It's a charge.
So assault of some sort.
100%.
Yeah.
And so I get to juvenile, they process me. I get into my room to my cell and there's no bed. It's just a slab of concrete. And I'm like, okay. And they'd already taken my mattress. And I still remember this putz's name, and I'll say his name because I've sent him an email and said my piece with him, Kurt Wolf. And I sent him an email about three years ago. It was very calm, but I'll get to that in a minute. Kurt Wolf comes to my cell and he goes, "You're not going to see the light of day until you're 19. And at that time, if I remember correctly, and TYC, so it's Texas Youth Commission, they could lock me up as a juvenile until 19. So there was a place in San Marcos, Texas, which is south. And he goes, "You're going to be doing 4 years. You will not see the light." I mean, he's cussing me. He's like, "You will not see the light of day until you are 19. You assaulted one of my probation officers. You spit on one of my probation officers. You are going down." So, of course, then the door closes. Reality checks in, right? And if you've ever had your freedom taken, my brother, everyone thinks they have it bad until you have no freedom. there's no gut-wrenching feeling like when that door shut. And I was telling this story on my wife's podcast not long ago, and Ryan, who's here, I had it, and I've prepared for this. I mean, I had a little bit of a panic attack, like
just reflecting
because I haven't thought of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it can still to this day, man, bring true trauma in me. And I remember when that door shut, and I'm thinking, and dude, I'm a kid.
Yeah.
My son is 15.
Right.
And I'm like, man, locked up in a cell.
No mattress.
And I'm looking at 4 years. So then, of course, I was locked up. I waited X amount of months to go to court. And I'll tell you this, I really met God there.
Yeah.
He had been in my life and I always felt God, but man, when you're in a situation, and that's sometimes why I like tough times for me, especially for people. I think, man, because when you're comfortable, bro, it's easy to get away from God. Yeah. It's easy to just be comfortable. And comfort is a bad thing.
Oh, bro. And my life still follows the same pattern. You know, you start stepping into the blessing that you beg God for. Then you get comfortable, and then it's all of a sudden I'm not talking to him as much. I'm not trying to follow his leadership. Everything's going great. And then something starts making me nervous. Even something, it could be something small. And then all of a sudden I'm back praying. I'm back seeking. I'm back at, you know, he's like, where you been, man? You know?
And I know for a fact, and we even touched on this before the podcast, just in our regular life conversations that we always get into. And that's why I love you, brother. We joke, we have fun, but man, you and I will both cry. You and I will both tell each other we love each other. You and I will hug each other. You know, you're just the real deal, dude.
Yeah.
You are, and I told you this before this podcast started, I respect you. But you and I, man, I just think we always have these kind of conversations, and it's special, man.
Yeah.
That we as men at our age, the same age, can have this kind of community. And sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. But anyways, and so, man, when that cell door shut, and I'm like, I mean, I just started crying, man. And you're in there, dude, with not nice people.
Yeah.
And I was still a good kid.
Yeah.
I was just lost, man. And I was begging for someone to love me, to give me attention, to, you know, and I sometimes joke, I'm like, man, I think in a healthy home, I would have been the president. But you know what? As I sit around, I look at where we're sitting. I'm so happy I'm right where we're supposed to be.
You're exactly where you're supposed to be.
But so of course, and that's where in that moment, man, I feel that I really, man, I prayed because, you know, and I believed in God. And of course, you know, but I prayed and I'm like, Lord, please. And I'm like, met him again and and I've always felt him in my life. And I still, man, can think of that jail cell and I can still look up, man. It's just that concrete, just itty bitty room. And I can remember the slab of concrete. I can remember the stainless steel sink with the, it's going to cuss, the pooper right there. You know,
it's okay if you cuss, Scott.
The shitter. And I remember staring at the Sylvania light bulbs. And dude, and
looking at the logo.
Oh, dude,
the Sylvania.
And so, and I'm sitting in there and I'm thinking, man, I'm getting 4 years. And you know, of course, man, I got some bullshit public defender.
You got to think at that age, 4 years
is an eternity.
Is a third of your life, a little more, like not even a fourth of your life, more than a fourth of your life that you've lived at that point.
And you know, and it's in Texas, dude. And let me tell you, man, the Mexican gangs, the black gangs, hell, some of the, I mean, it's just the white boys. There's some hardened people, bad kids that are on their way to prison.
Yeah.
And so I sat in there and I'm thinking, man, I have, even my public defender is like, man, you have the head of probation that wants your neck on a rope and he wants to hang you. And I remember, and you know, I didn't talk to my mom at all when I was really in there. My dad came and visited me every visitation. My dad wrote me letters and, you know, my dad's like, Scott, it's going to be okay. And of course you feel hopeless and I await court is long time. I think it was, I can't remember. It was 5-6 months, whatever it was, just waiting on court.
An eternity.
And I remember, and this is the one, hands down, the most influential moment of my life with my father. And even thinking about it, I can start crying. And so
It's
I go
the
to court.
testosterone.
Yeah, hormones, hormones, dude. And I can think about going to court, and I'm like, man, I'm never gonna make it. And my dad gets up there. You know, my dad he was in the Army during Vietnam. Then he got out, got his commission, went into the Air Force as an officer. My dad was a servant of his country. My dad went in his dress blues. And my dad had the opportunity to speak on my behalf, as did I. I still got the chance. My public defender could put both of us on the stand, and I'll never forget. My dad looked at that judge, and he just begged him to have mercy over me. And he said, Your Honor, this falls upon me. This isn't his fault. I've not created a great home life for him. You know, my son is a good kid. He is a good kid. He's going to be something in the world. He deserves time. He deserves a punishment. And I want him to get a punishment, but he says, I beg of you not to send him away for that long. You will change his life. You will ruin his life. It will ruin his life. He didn't say it would, you know, he didn't blame him, that moment, I mean, my dad is on the stand crying, begging for him to have mercy upon me. And the judge sided with my dad. And I just still think of this day, and my dad's dead. And I just still think, God, man, that, cause a lot of it was my fault too. And
sure,
but I just still think to my dad and, you know, that saved my life.
Yeah.
And that was, and of course, man, as you'll hear in the podcast, as I know you'll hear, sorry, man, but
it's okay.
As I know you'll hear, and you know, and people will hear, I had a long, long, long journey to fight.
Yeah.
That was just the beginning of some of the grace and mercy that was bestowed upon my life. And I ended up still doing a little under 2 years, which sucked. The judge gave me time served. And so I was put in another military boot camp. That was kind of like the thing back then. It was new, like kids were doing it for punishment to try to discipline kids. But so it was my second boot camp I went to. So it was in the middle of nowhere, Texas. And so I remember they picked me up from juvenile. And I will tell you this, it was better than sitting in a cell.
Sure.
Because when I was in juvenile, we still had school, which was like a couple hours a day, Monday through Friday. And when it came to the weekend, we were in our cell. We got out for, we ate breakfast in our cell. We got out for lunch for like 30 minutes. We got out for dinner and a shower for like 30 minutes. Then we had an hour of rec time. The rest of the time, you're in your cell.
Unbelievable.
Dude, unbelievable. And the mental damage that did to me as a kid.
No kidding, bro.
Terrible. And I remember, still to this day, I had a dream in there once, and there was a guard. His name was Brian. I'd never forget. One of the guy had a good heart. Don't remember his last name. I would love to see him today. I'll probably never see him again, but he was really sweet to me and really kind to me and joked with me and always told me kind things about myself. And he was a good one in that system. He was a good one to be around the kids. And I remember I was dreaming and I was banging on my cell door. So in my dream, I'm like locked up and I'm not supposed to be locked up because I'm free.
Right.
Banging on my cell door and I'm crying. Then I remember Brian opens my cell door and he wakes me up. He's like, Phil, hey. And I wake up and I'm like, holy shit, I'm dreaming. I was having a dream that I was free but locked up, that I shouldn't be locked up. I mean, it's just terrible, man. Mentally destroyed. Oh man, my self-esteem. It was just bad. So when I ended up getting to boot camp, they picked me up, and I'll never forget, this big ass white boy picks me up. And man, he even took me to like McDonald's. It was a long drive, and I'm thinking, okay. And I remember
McDonald's tasted so good.
And I'm like, man, this guy's pretty nice. And I remember asking, so like, I hear they like shave your head. Like, my hair's pretty short. Is this cool? He's like, oh man, 100%. He goes, they'll probably just taper it a little on the sides. And
you little fade.
Idiot. So we pull up, and gate opens, drives the van in, and we get there, and I'm just thinking, okay.
Upgrade.
Yeah. And, well, I don't know about upgrade, but I'm like, yeah, this is, checking it out. And all of a sudden this guy turns And he looks at me, and it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde shit. He turns and looks at me, and he goes, "Get the F out of my effing van now," yells at me. And before I know it, there is 8, 7, 6, I don't even remember, the biggest men I've ever seen ripping me out of it. There's a Goodyear tire on the ground, and they say, "Halo, motherfucker, halo." And I go, I had to take this tire and have my elbows locked over my head, and I'm running on a sand track. I must have thrown up till I had none left. When I tell you, it was, and as a trainer, I'm like, man, y'all can do this. Okay. I mean, I threw up. It is the middle of summer, Texas. And I mean, it lasted forever. There wasn't a thing I didn't do. Jumping jacks, push-ups, mountain climbers in the sand, running, the tire. I mean, everything. And I am physically just destroyed. No water, no nothing. So then we get to the front door, and he tells me the specific instructions how to get in. And yeah, I remember you had to bang on the door 3 times, and they called me boot fell. Request permission, blah, 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 blah. So, of course, I screw it up. I can barely hear. And bro, they go do it all over again.
No.
100%. And then I go back, I get it right. We get to the door, they show me. And of course, all of the kids are in the room. And they're all at their desk. I can't remember if it was school or what was going on. And of course, they're all laughing because they've all been through it.
Right.
So then they show me where my desk is, and I sit down. Well, he goes, "Did I tell you that you could sit down, boy?" And guess what? Right back out. Did it all over again. By the time I went to bed that night, I couldn't move my arms. I couldn't move my legs. Yeah, it was traumatizing. So I was like, I want to go back to juvenile. Like, dude, now that was the hazing phase. And I will tell you this, that ingrained group physical fitness into my soul. And of course there was fighting, of course, but there we worked more as a team, a unit.
Yeah.
And we were able to have kind of pride in what we were doing. And I just shined athletically. I was fast. I could do hundreds of push-ups, and and I don't think I knew I was white till I was probably 19 or 20. And and I just really got along with the other black kids. And,
yeah, the other black kids.
Like I'm one.
Because you're one of them.
Yeah. But see what I'm saying? And it was probably my first time of really meeting friends. And then go figure, I guess I didn't even tell you this, my brother was there. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so my brother was locked up there and had, I can't remember if he was there while I was there. He was there for a little while, but we were separate. All this is a blur, a lot of it. But then my brother had a guy that he was tight with, and he watched over me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which was incredible.
No kidding.
He would give me snacks.
Again, it's a little grace of God. You know what I mean? Like, just the guy Brian who took care of you in juvenile, and then at the boot camp, now you've got your brother's buddy. I love that.
And he really did look after me.
Yeah.
And so there, I was there, man, a significant amount of time, but it 100% ingrained physical fitness, and it's all I know, dude.
Yeah.
I just don't, and I don't know another way than get your ass up in the morning and exercise.
It's life-changing.
Wake up early.
Preach
and
it,
it
man.
gave me pride.
Yeah.
And I was successful at
You were
something.
good at it.
Good at it. For the first time in my entire life,
Yep.
I was rewarded for that.
Yeah.
And the coolest thing is, and so I got out of there, and I'll tell you this, and this was probably the hardest thing, is when I got back into society around my peers, and keep in mind, I'm still a teenager. You know what I'm saying? I think I was like 17, and I had nothing in common with them because their life was so
I can
childlike.
only imagine. Yeah.
And I didn't even know how to be like, hey, well, man, I've been in juvenile the last two years of my life, and it was really weird. But then I had kind of a, like, I don't want to say I looked down, but I because it's hard to put into words. I just looked at them like, you just don't know shit.
Right. Yeah.
But they shouldn't know shit.
Right. But that's all you knew.
Yeah. And so it was hard for me to adjust back into society. and back into, and then it was hard for me to not solve an altercation without an FU or a knuckle sandwich, or as they like to say. Because it was like, how do you solve a conflict? Fighting, cussing, yelling. And let me tell you how successful that was for relationships in my life with women. Terrible. Like, to all my exes, this is not my fault. So I just was not armored for any of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I look back on it, my brother, and I'm like, but I can't see my life being another way, because I wouldn't be this group fitness guy. I wouldn't have fallen in love with fitness. It wouldn't have become my identity.
Yeah.
And just God's hand over me. You know, then after that, I joined the Army, which was,
let's go. So this is the way I'm looking at this. We got Act 1 of your life was childhood. So we just covered that. Yeah, man. Brought a cigar.
Yeah, I brought a cigar, man.
Light that thing up,
it's a cool night.
Hey, right now we're celebrating the fact that you made it to 19 years old.
100%. Right. And so I joined the Army, and you know, that was a great move, honestly. And I had enough sense to really want to do that. It was encouraged, and actually I got into a program where I was able to get a high school diploma. So I never obviously made it through high school. I was able to get like the equivalent of a GED type thing, or a high school. I can't remember if it was the equivalent of, I think it was actually a diploma. I don't know. So I took the ASVAB, the entrance exam to the Army, and I actually, you know, because I'm not as dumb as I look, I actually scored well on it and did well enough.
Bro, you're brilliant.
Yeah, to get in the military, and then to be able to get a good job. Yeah. And of course, what did I choose? Artillery. Because why wouldn't I? I was a step above.
I want to blow stuff up.
A step above the infantry. So I joined the Army, and I guess that was 1999. And man, boot camp there, these kids are
piece of cake.
And the funny thing is there's kids literally crying for their mom that are like, kick me out, that go home because they quit because it's too hard. And I'm like, you effing kidding me?
Right.
We have all this food. You know, I still have freedom. And of course, in the first few weeks, you have no freedom. Can't even make a phone call. But then you get phone calls. Then you get all the food that you want. I mean, they feed the crap out of you. You know, and it was a breeze. And I shined through basic training. Like, it was like, hey, man, okay, shut up, do it. Yes, Sergeant, no, Sergeant.
You knew the drill.
So did
and you were good at it.
Yeah, and it was just an extension of boot camp.
Yep.
Minus I was getting paid, not well, of course, but getting some sort of money. And then, you know, and I was able to be around other people, but still there was a huge gap, because at that point I wasn't telling anybody my past. Yeah. I was a little embarrassed by it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't really start telling kind of my past till I was a little older. And I just had nothing in common with a lot of the other kids, because they just had most of them a normal childhood. And what's normal? But
no, I know what you mean. It felt like they had a more normal,
went through high school,
a more idealistic.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. So
yeah. So you spent four years in the Army, which thank you for that, by the way.
And it was actually 3.
Thing. 3, okay.
A little over 3. It ended up being, because my contract back then was 3. But then 9/11, I got called back a little bit. So it was a little over that, but right around there. Okay. And then while I was in the Army, and, you know, my favorite story is I worked at Abercrombie, of course.
Yeah, you did.
Part-time to meet chicks. And let me tell you, I was a folding machine. I was in there like, yeah, you want me to stand out shirtless in a Santa hat and spray people with cologne? Let's work. And it was the best thing ever. You know, you got all these pretty rich kids that don't want to do shit. You know, they're just like their dad's paying their college, so they got to have a job. You know, so it was at the Savannah Mall, and man, I'm in there just moving and grooving, bro. Hey, talking, just doing everything. So I ended up getting out. I was able to get a job as a manager in Montgomery, Alabama, at a new concept called Hollister.
Yep.
So that's what ended up. And
more shirtless.
Yeah. And a girl, you know, brought me, that helped, you know, young love that wasn't love. And we broke up in about 2 months of me being there. So I was a manager at Hollister at East Chase Mall in Montgomery, Alabama after that. And you know, man, and this is the truth. Didn't love the job. Very shallow company. You know, I heard there's like an Abercrombie & Fitch documentary, which I probably need to watch.
Sure.
But it was it was, if you were not beautiful, you were either hired and you made it through, then a DM comes in, sees you, and then, you know, if you didn't fit the mold, you're fire them. There was this sweetest kid that was there. They were like, you've got to fire him. He doesn't have the look. I said, he's the only one that does anything. I'm like, and I loved him. I'm like, I'm not going to fire him.
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to fire him. And it was basically me or him. Well, if you don't fire him. So then that night, I called my brother Mickey and I says, hey man, I'm leaving. Pick me up. And I left my keys and then walked into a restaurant and in downtown Montgomery. It was called Noble's. It was next to a restaurant called the Olive Room. It's kind of their fine dining of Montgomery. And I walk in, there was a bartender there. I mean, he was a big rainbow. Just, you know, the most loving gay guy ever. Just took me under his little wing.
Loved you.
Dude, his name was Sean. And I was like, hey, I'm here to apply for like a job, you know, waiting tables or whatever. And he's like, how about bartending? I'm like, I don't know how to bartend.
Right.
He's like, you're going to kill it. So he kind of helped train me to bartend. Then I started to kind of get a love for the food and beverage industry.
Yep.
And then met a guy while I was there that was in the wine business here in Birmingham, and ended up getting connected for an interview with United Johnson Brothers. And I got the job. I got an F route with like no accounts on it, like Mexican restaurants, just had some gas stations.
Right.
And ended up working my way up to the key account route. And one salesperson of the state, just thrived in it.
Yeah.
So
you're a kid that was raised in a home where alcohol was a major factor and issue. Now you're bartending.
Oh,
then you're a wine rep. So you're around alcohol, like
and the army.
And the army. So what is your relationship with that? So now you're a wine rep. Yeah, talk about your relationship with alcohol.
Oh, and then now I'm getting paid to drink.
Right.
And so, and of course, man, from about 18 on, just heavy drinker, and it just got worse. And man, thank the sweet Lord, during the wine business, never got a DUI. Handled it overall well.
Miracle.
Though,
right?
A miracle. I mean, I was drinking and driving a ton. And they can say whatever they want. It's part of the job. If you get caught, you're fired. You have no choice. And there was an Uber back then. And even if there were Uber, I have to be to 1 million accounts.
Right.
I just have to hire an Uber driver to be with me all night.
Right.
So it was definitely an unhealthy relationship with alcohol. Every night was drunk. And again, I was great at it. Loved it. You know, loved food, loved the wine industry. I did that for many, many, many years. And, but I'd always worked out no matter what. And I'd been working out hungover and or drunk for years. It's just something I did, something ingrained in me. It's like, doesn't matter how late I was out. I was like, let's go, man. I'm hammered, but I'm at the gym. Hell, I do a shot before I go in.
Hair of the dog.
Hair of the dog.
Lift some weights.
100%. And
Bro.
dude, and I was in the wine business for years, and there was a trainer at the Mountain Brook Y. That's where I went. And he's like, man, you'd be a great personal trainer. And I'm like, dude, I'm in the wine business. I don't know. You know, I don't have any clients, blah, blah, blah. And he said that to me for years. And finally, his name's Michael Meadows. Michael comes up to me. He says, hey, I'm leaving the Y. I'm opening up my own gym. And he goes, I want you to be my other trainer. I said, Michael, again, dude, I don't have a client. He goes, get certified. Just do me a favor, get certified. How about part-time? You know, whatever else. And I just kind of toyed with it. But man, to be honest, I was kind of getting worn out on the wine business. It's kind of same song, different dance. Barely had to work. I built a great relationship with my clients. It wasn't challenging me. I was having people just call me and say, hey, I need a $15 American Chardonnay, French Chardonnay, or Cab. Send me a case. We like it. I wasn't even selling.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was starting to feel bad because some days I didn't even work.
Right.
I just keyed orders at 3 o'clock and then went back to my glass of wine or drink. You know, I found myself, I'm at the Y at, 1:30 to 3:30. I'm taking like 2 hours doing nothing because I'm talking to everybody.
Yep.
So it just wasn't challenging me. And one day I said, Mike, let's meet for a cup of coffee. We met over at O. Henry's, and something in me just said, do it. And I did. And I started studying for my certification. I had a relationship with Johnny at John Marcos. And he's like, hey man, I'm opening up a wine bar. Why don't you work back there part-time till you get certified?
Love that spot.
Loved it. Huge time in my life. Ended up there. I was probably there all of 3 years, even on a part-time basis, doing little personal training, bartending. And let me tell you, that was a gig I could have stayed in for years. The money was good. It was fun. But again, it fed my alcohol problems, the drinking, the late nights, just all the bad decisions. And just, again, wasn't healthy. I know that now, but at the time, just kept rolling with it. Well, then my clientele started blowing up. And it got to the point, it's like, I need to make a decision. And that's when I just went complete personal training. Yep.
Okay, so where in this kind of timeline, what year did you go all in personal training?
I want to say that was probably because I met you in like 14. I was already a trainer at my second space. I'd probably say this was somewhere around 2010.
Okay.
11, somewhere in there.
So you have a 15-year-old son. So this is right about the same time Dash is born.
Yes. So he was born in 2010. So I know I was already a trainer when he was alive.
Yeah.
Right, part-time. So yeah, right around then, 2011, 12, somewhere in there. Because when I met you, like I said, I already had my second spot.
Yep.
So I'd been at it a few years.
Where was your first spot?
It was where next to Soho Social, where that barber shop is.
No, I saw you there.
Yeah.
I already knew you. That was your first spot.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw you outside of your first spot. And then we trained together at your second spot. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So on the timeline of things, so Dash, a lot of transition happening.
Yeah.
You leave the wine business. You go into personal training full time. You got a new baby boy.
And my son was not an accident. It was a surprise.
Yeah.
That was not planned, and had him, and such a great kid and such a blessing in my life. And obviously there was some hardship there.
Sure.
Because we weren't married.
Trying to figure that out. It's complicated.
And she had to figure that out.
Mm-hmm. And she was in Montgomery, right?
She was actually in Birmingham.
In Birmingham, okay.
Go get this. She replaced me at the job I left as
Really?
a wine rep. Not kidding. She worked for Jennifer Horner because Jennifer was who I just referenced on accident earlier.
Right.
But and her and I kind of had him, and you know how that happens. And
sure.
And
wait, how's it happen?
The
Scott?
birds and the bees, so and a few bottles of wine, but just a blessing. And actually, I just talked to him on the phone.
He's such a good kid. I've got to spend just a little bit of time around him, but like, y'all, really sharp kid,
smart,
young man. Kid's not the right word.
And he's got a great head on his shoulders. Loves God. I mean, he is light years ahead of anywhere I was, and anywhere that I would be. And I'm just so proud of him. And now he's taking an interest in working out. And
let's go.
Let's work. We were talking about that on the way here. And I'm just, man, in my newborn, Churchill.
We're going to get there in a second. That's in the fourth act.
Yeah. Well, they look like twins. I mean, it's absolutely, it's crazy.
Brothers. I totally agree with that. Okay. So transition, you're training now full time.
And all the while, keep in mind, I'm hammered.
Oh, bro. So I asked you the other day, like, how much would you drink in a day? And what you told me was, so when you had your second gym, I think it was the second gym, you said there were days you would finish off
a 750,
750 of vodka.
Just
by 3 p.m., go to Bottega and drink.
And I intentionally took a break. I did an 11 o'clock class then because I wanted to be at lunch by 12:15. I intentionally took a break till 3 o'clock just to go. It was either Surin, it was Bottega, and I'd just sit there and bang vodka on the rocks with an orange slice. After vodka on the rocks with an orange slice, and I'd just go back to work. And man, I did it. I just did it. And you can ask people like,
the guys here at the gym that were back in the day, they're saying you're doing push-ups, taking shots of Jameson at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Easy breezy, man. I went to bed drunk,
bro,
woke up drunk.
Function.
First thing in the morning, Jameson and coffee on my way to work. I mean, I look back on it, and like my wife now, who does not know, she knows it's a miracle I'm doing this podcast this late. This is how this is like a wild
disciplined
night.
You are.
Yeah, like
you're going to be up past 8.
Yeah, wow. Like my idea of a good time is cuddling with her in bed by 7:30, watching a Dateline.
You're out by 8:15,
and getting lucky if I'm lucky. I'm just like,
and then you're texting me at 3:45 when you get up.
Yeah, hey bro, let's go. So she doesn't know that side, and a lot of people don't. And I think that's great, but I think it's great. A lot of people knew me before, and like I said, it's just I don't know how I lived like it, and I know why. I didn't know why at the time. I was just processing, man. It was the cope. It was the coping mechanism.
Yeah.
I wasn't alcoholic. You wouldn't have thought it by knowing me. I mean, when I put it down, I just put it down. I have no addiction to alcohol. Rarely drink now. I don't even like, and even my previous life in the wine business and my education level in wine and how much I love wine, I just don't even like alcohol really.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, dude, I like a martini here and there because it'll get to the point. I'm like, all right, one. But then guess what it does, dude? Screws up my training, screws up my sleep, still makes me say dumb shit. Yeah. And when I'm, not often, but if I started drinking again, emotions come out and places come out that I don't want to see anymore.
100%.
Places that I've not forgotten about, but like I said, those demons,
just chapters you've closed, demons you put in the rear view,
and I see them.
You don't need to revisit.
I see them in the rear view if I look hard enough. But man, they've lost a lot of ground on me.
That's so good.
And it's just
hang on. I want to get to that part of the story, but I'm also thinking I'm gonna close this out. I want to break this up into 2 episodes. But I want to close this out with kind of where you are. We'll kind of leave everybody wondering what happens next, and then we'll get into the next part of the story. So you got your second gym. Dash is a toddler. You are drinking more alcohol than I can imagine consuming on a daily basis.
On a big day, I would go through a handle.
Bro, I just can't imagine what your liver was doing. I mean,
and for the most part, man,
you felt great.
I really functioned. But
I was around you a little bit. You were high functioning, high energy, same Scott.
The only thing that really affected was my relationship with women.
Yeah.
Those emotional, intimate relationships. And still, because I've always had a big heart, my intentions were always in the right spot. But man, when those emotions get involved, like, man, Good Will Hunting, Matt Damon's character, that could not be more of me. It's like, man, he's going to push. I'm going to push.
Yep.
And it's really an oxymoron. I'm going to push you as far away as I can to see if you'll leave me.
Right.
Which that's not a way to love a person. Yeah, because everybody leaves.
Everybody leaves.
Who's going to stay? And most will leave. Let me keep that real, dude. Let me be negative Nelly here, but let's be honest, man. Most people, they're not down for you, bro.
Yeah.
That's why when I got warriors, like I like to call Jeremy Simmons a foxhole friend.
Yeah.
You're the kind of guy that I want in a foxhole going to war with, that's watching my back. Well, all right, I got to get sleep. You got to stay awake and guard us.
Yeah.
Most friends aren't like that, man.
Yeah.
And misery loves company.
Yeah.
And that's the truest thing you can ever say. Hey, man, I'm miserable. Let me take you with me. Just like when I was drinking. Hey, man, want to go get shit-faced? I don't know, man. I got to be home, man. Hey, man, 7 drinks. I really meant, let's have one. Then turns into 7 drinks.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize I would do it probably. Yeah. But, it was just a cope, man. But again, I've made amends. And I've said this before, the 12 steps in AA and A, I dig them. I needed a few of them. I know I was an alcoholic.
Hang on, we're going to get into all this.
All right,
I want to close this one out. We're going to leave everybody in suspense for a minute, and then we're going to come back to the second half of your life, which is somehow even juicier than the first half.
Load.
And so the guys, thank you for tuning in so far. Scott Fell, we're going to have part 2 of his story. It'll be back up really soon. And then just a shameless plug. Hey, if this has been impactful or encouraging for you, I want to ask you for a couple of favors. One, if you could subscribe on whatever channel it is that you're listening or watching. Also, if you could like it, if it's, social media, leave a comment, just kind of help raise me up in the ratings, kind of gives me more visibility. That would be fantastic. More coming from Scott soon.